Okay, Toronto, we got a problem. It seems in this era of nihilistic, supposedly dark humor that for a long time has been trendy and popular on the internet, has been far too often growing beyond its just ironic lulls for internet geeks. I'm sure some of you can easily recall some stories of certain bars and restaurants that have use these similar types of memes and jokes in order to promote their businesses and appeal to edgy, ostensibly popular notions amongst the people that they think they want to appeal to. And that, of course, is the popular Toronto hipster. Let alone the problematic things that arise from labeling swaths of Toronto youth hipsters and the annoying stuff that comes with that. What we're witnessing here is the normalization of attitudes that were just meant to be stupid and ironic. And don't get me wrong, they were still pretty problematic when they were widely considered just that. The latest example of this desperate, bottom-feeding type of capitalism would come in the form of this. Yeah, that's right. Homelessio, a hipster edgy clothing company featuring sweaters and hoodies that, I don't know, are supposed to make you look cool because they make you look homeless? What? One of its taglines seems to be, "We are homeless." It's important to note at this time that the person running the company, known as Trevor Nichols, is not, nor really ever has been, homeless. Why is that important, you ask? And furthermore, how do I even know that? Well, a couple of things. For one, if someone had a company that said, I don't know, "We are gay," and the people behind that company definitely weren't gay and definitely were not giving back to the gay community that they were co-opting in order to turn a profit, that would seem pretty evil, wouldn't it? Like, pretty wrong, right? You know, especially when they're giving nothing back. Well, that seems to be what Mr. Nichols is doing with this homeless brand. And secondly, he posted this quote that seems to have been deleted, but luckily somebody screen capped it, so I'm able to read it for you here. Not many of you may know this, since it hasn't been a topic I've openly talked about much, especially over social media, but a couple of years ago I lost a massive amount of money in my business within a couple months span. The shift was cataclysmic, so dramatic that it forced me to leave an amazing home, business, and lifestyle of comfort and modern convenience behind me. Without house, office, or staff, I was barely able to keep my business alive, let alone food on my plate. With crushing debt and any income seemingly evaporating into thin air, I worked through the night from my laptop on McDonald's and Tim Hortons free Wi-Fi to keep the business alive. Counting $3 in my hand, wondering how I could make it stretch a week, became a daily reality. I'd grown accustomed to sleeping in Walmart parking lots from my time spent on the road on the tour circuit, but when it's literally your only place to go at night, it's a whole different story. Often, wild crab apples and ramen noodles would be the only thing getting me through the day. And this is the part that gets me. And Tindering became my nightly means of finding a bed and shower each night. To this day, I still may not have a permanent place of residence and still may not be 100% debt-free, but I bit the bullet and paid off over $60K since then. I'm almost there. He was somehow able to pay off $60,000 in a couple of years. Doesn't seem like he was that too desperate to me. And not to mention, not genuinely homeless. And further information from somebody who's been speaking with Trevor directly on this issue for the better part of the day confirms that he did spend a long time Tindering and just taking advantage of other people in order to, not be homeless. So somehow that seems to justify in his mind that he could try and exploit the concept of homelessness into an edgy, parasitic entrepreneurial venture. He claims that he's been in contact with and is, trying to, whatever that means, use the brand and the company to help the homeless by donating proceeds their way and partnering with other organizations. So far, this has been proven to be nothing but lies. As here's another screen cap dealing with exactly that. We are working on a partnership with Evas Place. We have been in communication with Evas, and being only about 2 weeks old, we haven't had a huge impact yet. And then this glorious response. Evas Place is a part of our organization, one of the 3 shelters we operate for youth experiencing homelessness in Toronto. You have not been in contact with us to discuss a partnership. I would be happy to discuss with you by phone why we won't be able to partner with you on this project at this time. Probably because trying to exploit the concept of homelessness for profits, it's really nasty in her mouth. And former employees have come forward. Well, a former employee has come forward from another supposedly failed business of his with this statement. The worst part about this is that I worked for this dude on the last failed business attempt at a clothing company called Monster Aesthetics when I was still an intern at Ryerson. He was so terrible at running a business that by the end of it, my job solely consisted of making shit up about production issues to innocent customers who ordered t-shirts from him up to 6+ months ago, while we had little intent of sending out their orders. I learned everything from Trevor Nichols as to what not to do when it comes to running a small business. The poor financial decisions, constant begging for favors without any intention of return, manipulation, anger, and frustration I endured from working with him actually largely inspired me to start Rosehound. I'm not sure yet what Rosehound is, but by the sounds of it, I like it already. Now, he is marketing homelessness for his own profit. As a business who regularly donates to Sistering and a number of other charities, the idea of capitalizing on the unfortunate is sad and disrespectful. Well, Megan, I happen to perfectly agree. You can't trust this dude. I guarantee that the profits made from this excuse for a clothing line will not go towards any homeless organizations, the independent screen partners he never paid back, independent screen printers he never could pay back, or even his parents when whom he depleted. They will go into all the profits will go into his own pocket and into his next business failure. It's pretty scathing stuff from Megan there. And furthermore, in keeping with typical edgy, bottom-feeding, exploitative, all too often Torontonian behavior, here's an extremely ill-thought-out Instagram post. Okay, first of all, street bums? Really, dude? That's how you refer to the people you're pretending to want to help? Geez, even fake it till you make it wouldn't work. There's also no homeless people in this photo. There's nothing of him handing out anything to homeless people, interacting with homeless people. It's just a guy trying to look moody, standing on a Toronto street corner in a black and white photo. It's so grossly self-serving and shameful. It doesn't even look like he's packing a whole lot of swag there to be giving out. And side note, swag? So there's literally nothing good that could possibly come from this. This obviously goes beyond just from some typical ill-thought-out Instagram post. This isn't about the takedown of one particular individual either. This is an attitude so prevalent on the web, and as I mentioned before, problematic to begin with, and this is partially why, because it so often seethes into the real world and real world attitudes. And so with this being in the age of social media, some people who want to make their entrepreneurial mark will go to gross, outlandish levels like, Milo Yiannopoulos, anyone? And they'll go to these gross levels just to make a buck. And it's gross. As his previous ventures failed, I kind of hope this one does too. Not that I particularly want to see somebody fail, but if he ever does try his hand at a startup business again, maybe he won't go so, so bloody poorly thought out about it. And that goes for the rest of the would-be entrepreneurs out there. Okay. Now, I could go into this whole diatribe about how, the weakening foundation and desperation of late capitalism is responsible for this. But I'll save that for another time. Instead, I'll leave you with a question. Has this guy ever seen Zoolander?
Let me show you. Derelict! It is a fashion, a way of life inspired by the very homeless, the vagrants, the crack whores that make this wonderful city so unique.
So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm James, and this has been The Rough Report.